Before Nike was a billion-dollar empire, before the swoosh meant greatness, before athletes were brands, there was a failed athlete. Phil Knight wasn't fast enough to win championships. He wasn't strong enough to go pro. He wasn't destined for glory, but he was obsessed. Obsessed with one question. Why were the best running shoes in the world made in Germany and not America? That question would eventually build a brand that doesn't just sell shoes, it sells belief. This is the story of how Nike didn't win by being the best at sports, but by understanding what sports mean to people. Phil Knight was a middle-distance runner at the University of Oregon. Not elite, not legendary, but his coach was. Bill Bowerman believed performance came from details: lighter shoes, better grip, marginal gains. In the 1960s, Adidas dominated running. Their shoes were great but expensive. Knight saw an opportunity. While studying business at Stanford, he wrote a paper arguing that Japanese manufacturers could make high-quality shoes for less, just like Toyota had done to Detroit. That paper wasn't theory, it became a company. With $50 each, Knight and Bowerman started selling shoes from the trunk of Knight's car. They didn't have factories. They didn't have money. They didn't even own their own brand. They called it Blue Ribbon Sports. And for years they barely survived. Nike's early years were chaos. Cash flow problems, lawsuits, banks that didn't believe in them. At one point, Nike was selling millions in shoes and still couldn't afford payroll. But here's what mattered. They listened to athletes. Bowerman literally poured rubber into a waffle iron to prototype better soles. Every design decision started with one question: will this help athletes perform better? This wasn't marketing yet. This was authentic obsession. And then came the moment that changed everything. They needed a real name. Not technical, not corporate, something primal. They chose Nike, the Greek goddess of victory. And with that name, the company stopped selling shoes and started selling aspiration. In 1971, a design student was paid $35 to create a logo. That logo? The swoosh. At the time, Phil Knight didn't even like it. But the swoosh wasn't meant to be pretty. It was meant to move. Speed, momentum, flight. Nike understood something critical before almost anyone else. A brand isn't a logo, it's a feeling. Then Nike made its boldest move. Instead of advertising products, they invested in people. Athletes weren't billboards, they were stories. And in 1984, Nike made a risky bet on a rookie basketball player one the other brands passed on. His name was Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan didn't just elevate Nike, he transformed it. Nike stopped being a sports company. It became a cultural force. Shoes weren't equipment anymore. They were identity. Nike ads didn't talk about materials or specs. They talked about fear, doubt, greatness. And then came three words that changed advertising forever. Just do it. Those words weren't about sports. They were about life. Nike understood psychology better than its competitors. They didn't say, buy this shoe. They said, become this person. That message resonated across race, class, and geography. Financially, it worked. Emotionally, it exploded. Nike became a symbol of rebellion, ambition, and self-belief. Nike wasn't perfect. They faced backlash, labor scandals, political controversies, athlete protests. But Nike didn't retreat. They leaned in. Because by then, Nike knew who they were for. Nike didn't chase everyone. They stood with those who dared. That clarity built trust, and trust built loyalty. Nike wasn't just selling shoes anymore. It was selling values. Nike didn't win because it had the best factories, or the best ads, or even the best athletes. Nike won because it understood something deeper. People don't buy products, they buy belief systems. Phil Knight never became a great athlete, but he built something more powerful. A brand that whispers to millions of people every day, you can be more. You can